He was busy on assignment last night, but the Capitol Insider, Scripps political correspondent and our former colleague Joe St. George is back tonight to give us some insights on issues impacting Virginians. He joins us now via Zoom. Welcome once again, Joe.
Hey, good to be with you, Bill.
Good to have you. Well, tell us what has changed in the 24 hours or so since last night's debate. Did it change the trajectory of the campaign?
Well, first off, have you recovered from watching that? My goodness, that was 90 minutes of television that, man, certainly made history, and I don't think it's the good kind of history. Look, CBS News reporting tonight, what was pretty obvious after that first debate is that there's going to be some rules needing to be changed over the course of the next two debates. We know that the Biden campaign at least is going to participate. After that first debate, those 90 minutes, there was some questions whether or not that might be it for the 2020 presidential debates. But we know that the Biden campaign said they're going to still participate in the next two debates. And it looks like we'll be seeing some rules changes, perhaps the microphone, if you're not speaking, the microphone won't allowed to be up for the candidates. We'll see if that makes a difference. But it's clear, everybody who watched that debate, the CBS News poll came out right after. It said 69% of Americans who watched it felt annoyed watching that debate, frustrated. So clearly some changes are in the works, and we'll see what the next debate holds.
Well, and among that 69%, no doubt Fox News is Chris Wallace, because crazy, trying to rein those two in. So you mentioned the commission possibly changing the format. What about down the ballot candidates who have to decide how much to embrace, whether you're a Democrat embracing Biden or a Republican embracing Mr. Trump? What about the impacts down the road there in various state races? Because I know you're covering a lot of Senate races as well.
Yeah, well, look, there's a lot of Republicans, and I've spoken with a lot of Republicans around the country in the last 24 hours who say, man, we do not appreciate that white supremacist answer from President Donald Trump. They wanted things to be a little bit more forceful, denounce the white supremacist question from Chris Wallace. They did not necessarily get that. President attempting to clarify his words today. Look, there were millions of Americans watching last night. And what was remarkable, Bill, is the TV ratings showed that people stayed through the debate. There was a lot of people believe that perhaps people might change the channel or flip on a Netflix documentary halfway through, but the audience did seem to stay throughout the 90 minutes, which suggests they were still listening and they enjoyed listening to the bickering. So it does hurt races like the 2nd Congressional District in Virginia, the 7th Congressional District in Virginia, potentially, or perhaps the voters may be a bit smarter, right? The voters in Virginia are smart voters, and they may be separating the presidential race from some of these down ballot races. We shall see.
All right. Well, Joe, while you ponder taking that call, I've got another question. We have talked before about what with all the absentee ballots, the mail-in ballots, the likely different look of this election and how people are going to safely vote. Last night, President Trump's refusal to say that he would necessarily stand by the election results, and then added to his unfounded claims of mail-in fraud by urging his supporters to watch the polls closely before then alluding to what might happen at the Supreme Court or in the House of Representatives. What do you make of that at the end of the debate there, where the incumbent president has suggested that he might not recognize the results of this election?
It was an extraordinary moment, and there are world leaders and foreign leaders in other countries watching that and saying, my goodness, what an extraordinary moment. This is where the electorate, the people of Virginia, are going to have to be smart and recognize what's going on. That election night results at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. We've talked about this before, Bill. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very difficult on election night at 11 p.m. for you to come on with Candace and say, these are the winners of tonight. And that's just because states like Pennsylvania are not going to be able to start scanning their ballots till 8 o'clock that evening. It's going to be hard in a lot of these states, these swing states, to get results in a timely fashion for people. That being said, the president has been critical of this mail-in ballot process, and it seems like that's going to continue through Election Day. But the big difference here, Bill, is that people are already voting. Virginia, my goodness, hundreds of thousands, north of 1 million voters expected to have voted now in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In Michigan, I can tell you today that thousands of people went to the polls. Never before has an event been able to impact voting in so quickly. And that's what we've seen with these debates.
All right, we'll stay on top of that issue as well. Joe, we thank you for your time as always.